Okay, I'm going to talk about The Magic Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton, and I'm going to review this book using the four resources model. I'm just going through my notes and drawing on their background knowledge, the participants who are going to read the text, and comparing own experience with similar texts. That's to do with one of the aspects of the four resources model. Knowing all this and Enid Blyton and the Secret Seven and 5 books, they were my favourite growing up. I related to all of them as a child, relating previous experience with similar texts. Perhaps Cat in the Hat and the other Enid Blyton books, and about seeing their own interests and lifestyles reflected in texts pertaining to looking at the book and constructing meaning from text based on own prior knowledge. So this will all do while using the four resources model. I'm doing this video as I'm new to PowerPoint, and that was originally my design of the four resources model, and I was going to put there some references and just put some of these little videos in. I'm going to talk about my understanding of the use of the four resources model using the Magic Faraway Tree Moon Faces story by Enid Blyton. This can be used as a final assessment. I'm going to be using the curriculum model, and which is ACARA, and it's relevant in primary classes, level 2 to 3 and up to 6. The lecturer said that I could use this book up to grade 6. I'm going to show the capacity to apply knowledge to texts, the knowledge of relevant research, literature, and policy documents, and understanding principles and practices pertaining to organisation in the context of a primary school context. A knowledge of teaching strategies that support inclusive student participation. I took a lot of notes from the class lecturer. So this is very handy to me, so I'm sure it would be handy to other people, and perhaps I should have rehearsed this. I'm going to talk about ACARA and the literature surrounding the four resource model, around critical literacy, principles and practices of literacy, situating practice. The four resource model was first brought up by Luke and Freebody, and it's about what we see being based on prior knowledge. This is my messy notes, but under code breaker and text analyst, meaning maker, or text participant and text user, I'll just break these 4 boxes down. Code breaker, we decode and encode texts, alphabetical and letter sound word building, letter sound. Under text analyst, we understand social context of text, and the text represents particular views, and text influence people's ideas, questioning or challenging text. Under the heading of meaning maker, or the box of meaning maker, in my presentation they'll probably be represented by circles. So meaning maker or text participant active to make what we see, or what we see based on prior knowledge? What do we mean, and why do different children have different ideas about things? So you could have 4 children and they'll all come up with a different meaning as a text participant. Under the heading or box or circle of text user, this involves reading, writing, speaking, listening, and reading for real purposes. And later, after, we can challenging and build and spell words. The 4 resource model, importantly, is not hierarchical. So, as I thought in the beginning, code breaker was the first thing that you do when you get a text, like try and break the code of the text, like see, the letters and the sounds and build the words. And then I thought text analyst was next, when you're analyzing the text and understanding the social context of text. And then I thought meaning maker was to make what we see, or what we see based on prior knowledge. And then I thought the text user would have been the last box, circle, or category, where we read, write, speak, listen, and read for real purposes. No, all of these are simultaneous with one another. They integrate with one another. So not one of these elements of the 4 resources model stands alone or is more important than the other. It just depends what lesson you're going to prepare and, what you want to focus on. But using the 4 resources model, you must refer to all the categories. So therefore, it is a recurring model. It's cyclical rather than hierarchical. So you don't use text user and not the others first. It's recording more than reading words. In the meeting mode, we're linking and preparing experience, different perspectives. The lecturer brought up about a picnic, or some parents. So there was a picture of a picnic, but different people are going to look at the people in the picnic, and according to how their home is structured, they could be in foster care. So their picnic may not involve their real parents. It may be their foster parents, for example. And, you could have different nationalities, and you could have Asian and Negro and white European, and not being racist here, but you could have a family picture of all these different types of people. They're all people. And some people may question that's not a family, but different people mix with different people and have children of all different races. So, yes, in that could be a biological family as well as a foster family, or just a family of people who choose to be together. Anyway, enough on that. Text user. Why we write in and out of school. Do you know, a shopping list is not a story. It is more of an event. And you put dot points in a shopping list. It's not sentences or paragraphs like in a book. For me, the idea of the text of The Magic Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton is that it's all about birthdays and being kind to one another and sharing. So, what is expected at school? Well, we read, write, speak, listen for a real purpose. And in The Magic Faraway Tree, Moonface's story by Enid Blyton, the main theme of the book is that it's a birthday party and, things don't always go right. But, different things happen, and we realize that the main thing is to share and have friends and care. And the birthday party is of course a celebration, so you can learn about different things you have at a birthday party and games, etc. Anyway, in the 4 resources model, we will use a variety of texts appropriately, and you can use one text in many different ways or many texts in the same way. We're always going to have different answers depending on who we are and where we come from. And this ties in with critical literacy, which is very important in this day and age. It's important to make children want to borrow books and read them because, as our lecturer said to us, Jeanette King, she said, you can tell kids to borrow books, but they'll borrow them and they may not read them. So I'm thinking of a Venn diagram here, but we got to know what reason to borrow or borrow the book, and we have to show what we put as our ideas there, and then it'll be more interesting for children to want to borrow. If you get them to question things, they'll borrow a book and they may read and write about it because they know they have to question and produce some feedback. So we're not just getting children to borrow a book, we're getting them to be critical and use their literacy upon the book. Under the heading of the 4 resources model of text analyst, it's important to understand the social context of a book. For example, 20 children can have 20 different viewpoints, and any text influences ideas. And students question and challenge, so this is very important. So whose voice is silent, whose agenda is put forward, and who's important. And we had an example, Cinderella. So Cinderella, the story has been retold many different times, especially by Disney. And you can see the Cinderella story. Also, we had as an example Shrek. But Cinderella's story, from rags to riches, although Cinderella was already like royalty. Yes, this story has been told many times. It's a bit like even Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Anyway, as an assessment piece, we could use a different fairy tale. Children must be taught adjectives. By grade 4, they would be able to do most of the 4 resources model proficiently. In the earlier years, we'd have to, guide the students a bit more. So for code breaker, could be after a unit of work based around fairy tales. Language decoding is involved in this. We could find 10 adjectives and explain those adjectives, help you understand the personality of the main character. Under meaning maker, which could be a final assessment. So meaning maker is one of the categories of the 4 resources model. What are the main problems? And the birthday party and things change. They don't always go to plan. Sharing and caring. How does she or he overcome the problem? Well, they go up to the magic faraway tree and realize it doesn't matter if a cake falls apart. You still got your friends and you can still share and care. And referring to the magic faraway tree, Moonface's story by Enid Blyton, what does this tell us about life or how you should face difficulties? Well, really, things don't always go to plan. Everyone has birthdays and birthday parties are great. But sharing and caring, we're not born to live this life on our own. We're born to live amongst other people, so it's important to share and care. You do go a lot further in life when you can share. So not just one idea is forward, there's 2, and you can be critical of differences and, create more literacy this way. So definitely year 4 can answer under the category of meaning maker and use the 4 resources model proficiently, as long as you have done the read up beforehand. Under the category of text user, which I will have in circles, if you met with the main character, what questions would you ask? If you turned into a real drama, what changes will explain your decisions? Under the category of text analyst, what is your understanding of the social and cultural aspects of the book? And early years can do this too. You can have a discussion about where you come from and do you remember your birthdays? Have you had a good one? Have they always gone to plan? Are you happy to have friends and to share? Are you male or female? This could make a difference. What are the cultural and social assumptions about the main character and the others that are evident in the text? Well, the main character is the main character. Yet without the other people, the main character wouldn't be very significant, would they? They'd have no one to share and care about and celebrate a birthday with. Supporting your child's language and literacy, and I will put references. The 4 resources model could be used as an organising device. Implementing the 4 resources model in the classroom. You could have one box demonstrating understanding and explain how you've implemented the 4 resources model to develop a final assessment piece for a particular project, focusing on text analysts. That's what I was going to do in the beginning, but really I'm just going to talk about the 4 aspects of the model. And it's used in teaching of content And so I will have to refer to ACARA. I'll use the resources of the state of Queensland, the ACARA 2016, and Raising Children Network 2016, and the state of Queensland 2016. What descriptors could link? Okay, well, you could identify the descriptors within the Australian curriculum. The demonstration of my understanding of the four resources model, context using and implementing the four resources model. Why give an example of implementation? When you identify descriptors, that will become evident, and we're following curriculum then. And how to make a decision. How am I going to use the four resources model? You have to find a text that kids can use. And obviously what I'm going to use is, again, The Magic Faraway Tree, Moonface's Story by Enid Blyton, who's one of my favourite authors. Good luck, everyone. I'll be trying to fix my poster, but I will add this just in case I missed something, and you can always look at this later. Good luck with the four resources model, and please enjoy The Magic Faraway Tree, Moonface's Story by Enid Blyton, because I've got that also in the poster. Thank you.